Hi, myself Mahesh Shingare, and today we are talking about the cell. So first I will write the definition of cell. So what is the cell? Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. This is a superb and the simple definition of the cell. So what is cell? Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. These two major components are the units of a living organism. So whatever the living organisms are there, they are mainly composed of from this cell only. All the living organisms, those who are found on the earth, they are mainly composed of from the cells only. So these cells are the microscopic. What they are exactly? They are microscopic in nature. They do not see with the naked eyes. We have to use to see them with the help of a microscope, specifically compound microscope. There are different types of microscope, but basically we can see this cell under the microscope, which is known as a compound microscope. So this is about the particular cell, general information about the cell, and the definition. So the structural and functional unit of life or in a body, that is called as the cell. So who discovered first this cell? Robert Hooke, the name of that scientist who discovered this cell. Robert Hooke in 1665. And along with that, where it found the bark of a plant. Where it found bark of plant. And later on, the Anton von Leeuwenhoek, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he discovered his own microscope with the by lenses or the by two lenses, and he also described the cell, the later on by after the Robert Hooke. So this is a particular definition, and who discovered about the cell, discovery about the cell, it is by the Robert Hooke in 1665 in the bark of a plant, and Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he discovered a microscope, his own invented a microscope, and he also studied about the cell. Okay, so these are the two essential points when you are talking about the cell. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. They are simplest organism. They are microscopic in nature, and along with that, so Anton von Leeuwenhoek also discovered a nucleus. Anton von Leeuwenhoek discovered a microscope, and about its study, microscopic studies given by this Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Now, these organisms, these which are made from the cells, they are two types of organisms. Okay, those who are having the single cell only in their body, and the second one, those who have the more than two cells in their body. More than two cells in their body. So those organisms who are having with the single cell in their body, they are called as unicellular organisms. What they are called as? Unicellular organisms. And they are amoeba, bacteria, chlamydomonas. So there are so many different types of unicellular organisms they have with a single cell in their body. And those animals who are having more than two cells in their body, they are called as multicellular animals. What they are called as? Multicellular animals. So these are the basically two different types of animals according to the cell organization. So these are the two different types of animals. One as a unicellular organisms and the second one as a multicellular organisms. Now, according to the cell organization, these are the two types. Cell organization. How many cells found into their body? So these are the two. Single-celled animal. They are also known as unicellular. Those who are having with them more than two cells in their body, they are called as a multicellular animals, like plants and all the animals. for having these total multicellular animals. Now, when we are talking about the cell structure, so it is also two types. What it is exactly? Cell structures. The first one, that is a prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell. And the second one, eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So, why these two different types of cells are differentiated? So, the pro means false and karyon means nucleus. It means those cells, the lack of nuclear membrane in their cell, that type of cell are known as a prokaryotic cell. Then what are those cells? Those who lack of the nuclear membrane as well as the membrane bounded organelles, they are that kind of cells are known as the prokaryotic cells. They are the bacteria. What they are exactly? Bacteria. These particularly prokaryotic cell structures, it means the lack of their nucleus in their cell. Lack of nuclear membrane in their cell, so that type of cells are known as a prokaryotic cell. And eukaryotic cell means those cells which are having the nuclear membrane in their cell around the nucleus as well as their organelles, that type of cells are known as a eukaryotic cell. So this is a difference between this prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Supposed to be this is a particular cell, these are the two cells. One cell having this as a central portion, this is also called as a nucleus, and when we are talking about this type of a second cell, so this is also a nucleus. So when you are looking at this is a completely packed nucleus of the cell. Packed nucleus. So, and when you are looking at this type of a nucleus, so it is without or the lack of nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane. And so that's why this cell is known as a prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell, and this cell which is known as a eukaryotic cell. So this is a particular difference between the eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Here you can see the difference, clear-cut difference. This is a nucleus. Nucleus is completely bounded with the nuclear membrane. So such type of cell is known as a eukaryotic cell. And here you can see this is also a particular cell, but he do not have any kind of membrane around the nucleus. So such a kind of cell is known as a prokaryotic cell. And when this kind of nucleus who do not have the membrane around itself, that is called as a nucleoid. And such kind of cell are found only in bacteria. They do not have the membrane around its nucleus. So that is a particularly structure which is called as a prokaryotic cell. Stop karo.